All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Dumb Ass Film Students Podcast, where us young filmmakers come together and give our irrelevant opinions about films that people make that probably suck ass and don't deserve Oscars, but y'all voted for them anyways. No, I'm just kidding. But hey, my name is Rudy Wilson. I'm bitter today because I've been arguing with a racist person on my the one that he's actually black and doesn't like black people.
I was gonna say it's not the one you'd expect.
It's not the one that you expect. But that's Mr. Daryl D.A. Henry. How you doing, sir?
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
And believe it or not, the non-racist one of the group, Mr. Lonnie Cox. What's up, man?
What's up, everybody?
And then we have a special guest, and she's actually on the side of me and Lonnie, believe it or not, but she is sitting next to the racist. We're gonna have him introduce her. So, D.A., why don't you introduce our special guest?
All right, so our special guest today is my wife. Her name is Shania Davis. Well, actually, her last name is Henry now. Sorry.
All right. Ooh.
So Shania, tell us about how you actually got into filmmaking, and I know that you pretty much like screenwriting, so tell us about all of
that. So he actually brought me into filmmaking. I was his unofficial, unpaid screenwriter in the background for years now.
Man.
So I just decided to finally go to school for it and make my own script, so thank you. But yeah, I've been screenwriting for about a year now. I'm actually getting my AFA in screenwriting at New York Film Academy. So yeah, it's been a fun journey.
So
is that how you guys met?
No.
Did you guys
I was
meet
getting ready to say that. Can we at least start from how y'all met? Like he just went, like you know her. You just going straight into it. It's talk about what I did for you, baby. No, let's start from the. So you guys know each other from where? You got married when, and then now you're, I guess, film careers together.
We know each other from church.
We're actually interviewing Shania, if that's okay.
Oh, okay. Oh.
You're on here every week. That's okay. That's okay.
Well, yeah, we met at church and
in Arizona.
Yeah, in Arizona. I'm from Arizona, and we've been dating for 4 years. Yeah, 4 years before we got married last year. And we got married right before I started at NIFA. So.
Gotcha. And that was like September or something? August,
yeah.
August.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. How did y'all know each other before the 4 years of dating? Like when y'all met, was it met and then started dating, or?
I knew him actually. How we really met? We actually matched on Tinder, right?
Oh, wow.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
We
matched on Tinder, and I messaged.
Did y'all find out during church service that y'all matched?
Huh? No.
Oh, okay.
But our churches do affiliate with each other a lot.
Right.
Let me talk. Our churches affiliate with each other a lot. So I see him on Tinder, and I'm like, I know I've seen this guy somewhere. And I'm like, hey, you go to New Salem, or do I know you from church? And he's like, oh, what church you go to? And I'm like, oh, I go to St. Paul. And next thing I know, it said unmatched. And I'm like, this guy unmatched. And then he saw me in person at church and was like, oh, she wasn't catfishing me. And then.
Wow. Oh, so you thought it was fake because somebody was saying the news? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty. That could be a very interesting movie. I mean, I know it's y'all real life, but like that's pretty funny that two people got married off of a Tinder match through church almost.
I mean, I wonder how many people have gotten married to somebody that they unmatched on Tinder.
Yeah,
that's pretty unique. Okay, and so as far as filmmaking, I know y'all had questions too, but this is my last question. As far as filmmaking, I guess how does being the fact that both of y'all are in that field and being married, like how does that work? How does that whole situation,
Yeah, they say don't work with your spouse, and we definitely have different work ethics, I would say, because my background isn't in film. I actually got my bachelor's in psychology, so the way I think is completely different than his.
Gotcha.
And so whenever we work together, we always argue, like all the time, and typically I'm right. I'm always right, but I am. I'm mostly right because I've. So yeah, but I mean, sometimes it's fun, like when we're driving and we both throw an idea, you know, it's really fun to have that feedback. But yeah, other
I just want to
times
set the record straight. She's not always
I
right. Let's
am
just-
always rude.
I want to set the record straight that anytime I talk to DA about the story or anything, we're always bumping heads as well. So I think he's the common denominator.
Okay,
What the
okay.
world?
All right.
I'm the problem.
Cool.
I'm
I'm the
not
problem.
saying you're necessarily the problem. You're just the common denominator in both equations.
What the
Well,
world?
DA did say that there wasn't enough action in the Rambo movie that we reviewed. So I'm gonna go ahead and.
Well, what was that? Where was the action, Lonnie? Where was
Oh
that?
my God, he's so
Hey, but
animated
I bet you.
already.
Hey, I bet you he thought it was enough white people in the movie though.
right. This is a good movie. This is a good film.
I'm sorry, Shania. Go ahead.
I wasn't saying anything. I was done.
Oh, I thought you were still talking about. I'm very good at interrupting people, so I thought I may have interrupted you. So
Oh
it's,
no,
it's-
you're
it's
good. That was
muscle memory. Okay.
very natural.
Well, that's what's up. So Lonnie and DA, did y'all have any more questions? I'm sorry. I know.
Nope.
I was gonna ask her how she ties in her psychology background into her script.
Oh. I mean, it's mostly for character development and I guess figuring out sort of the decisions that they'll make throughout the journey, making sure that it's realistic. Like I'll read his scripts all the time and I'll be like, what? How does this person, like one of his ideas, she had bulimia and then by the end of the script, she was cured. And I'm like, that's not even logical because it was like a day, you know?
Right.
Not feasible. So it's just making sure that it's realistic and just no matter what that it's human. I just hate watching movies and I'm like, that's not normal. No one would do that.
Right.
So yeah.
I'm being very disrespected today.
Well, I think y'all are going off of y'all's laptop microphone, and y'all both sound kind of low. So I know y'all project when you speak. Don't try to touch the volume, DA. It's you guys, okay? Just you got to talk louder. You got to elevate your voice because the computer is not picking it up as loud as it is in your own ear.
No. We just scooted the computer closer, so maybe it'll help.
Yeah.
It didn't. But we'll figure it out. Cause I thought it was just me, but when Lonnie agreed, I thought maybe just mine was low. But we can hear you. It's just not super elevated. Okay, cool. And I guess I do have one last question, Shania. So do you have like an ultimate goal when it comes down to filmmaking, like in film specifically? Are you enjoying it? Do you want to go back to psychology? Or?
Yeah, I mean, definitely down the line, I would like to get my master's in developmental psychology because I really think it could help my screenwriting. But I do want to write for TV. I think that's like where my path is taking me right now. So hopefully you'll see me on NBC or something with the next Blackish. I don't know.
Gotcha. Do you want to be like a showrunner, like to get to that point, or just strictly like in the writer's room and just kind of just?
No, definitely a showrunner.
Showrunner. Gotcha. Dope. That's dope. All right. Did you want to do TV too, Daryl?
Oh, I'm gonna do everything.
You say you're gonna do what?
I'm gonna do everything.
Oh, like stage plays and everything?
Yeah, I already started studying how to do a stage play.
Tyler Perry face ass. All right. That's Tyler Perry. He does everything. He does TV, stage plays, movies.
I mean, I just won't be that quality. I'll be
Jesus, he's so disrespectful. You're so racist. You're so racist. Let me would have said Tarantino. You'd have been, he's so great. He's so great. All right. Anyways.
Hey, man, I think Spike Lee is one of the greatest directors of all time.
Wait until you watch the Five Bloods.
I heard that was really good. It was bad.
Well, that's going to be my movie for this week because I just want to see what everybody else thinks about it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into the movies that we got of this week. All right. We can start with the movie that you picked, young Daryl, Of Mice of Men. Who stars in that? For the record, anybody watching, I didn't watch it because, I thought we had like an unprecedented rule where we don't pick movies that cost money. It's 2 weeks in a row this has happened, all right? And so I didn't watch this movie because I didn't want to pay for it. But these three young filmmakers and scholars have watched it, so I'm gonna let them debate about it. But who's in this movie? Is there any like big stars, the big names?
Malkovich and Gary
Sinise.
Denise.
Gotcha. Okay.
Lieutenant Dan.
Gotcha. And so, is there anybody who did not like the movie?
Pretty good movie.
Yeah,
Apparently, Shania doesn't like
no,
it.
it's a good
Apparently.
movie. I'm just not a fan of endings like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's talk about it. What happened? What's the part that you didn't like at the ending or whatever?
I mean, so the whole movie is
Wait,
about.
did you read the book first?
No, I mean I'm familiar with the book. I didn't read it. But the whole movie is about, it's these guys. One of them is mentally incapacitated, and essentially he's taking care of them. They're working on like a farm, right? And because of even though he's incapacitated, he's very strong. He's like a really large dude, and so he accidentally kills someone and puts them in a situation. So at the end, the guy has to put him down, essentially. So he kills him.
I'm not saying, are we talking about a dog or a human? Like, what is
It's
that?
a human. I don't know why
he
she.
treated
I don't know
him.
why she said it like
Because
that.
that's how he
Put him
did
down.
Down.
Like it's
Well,
a
that
horse
basically
that
is
broke his leg.
what he does. That's basically what happens.
Yeah.
Is he does like put him down. Like that's what happens.
Does he? I'm saying, how does he kill
Like
him?
they're saying it's so wrong. But,
He shoots him.
So that's what we call shooting people now, is putting them down. Is that?
now, putting him to sleep.
He was the sweetest guy, he just,
Except for the murder.
except for the murder, which was an accident.
But it happened twice.
Right.
Well, let me ask you
Well,
this.
I think what's implied is that he murders people quite often. Like they
Yeah.
keep having to leave the town that they're in.
Exactly.
Like
But
I
let me
think
ask
it's
you this.
implied that it happens quite a bit.
How was he murdering people? Like, I know it was an accident or whatever, but what was
Basically, oh, go ahead, Lonnie. Go ahead.
Well, he likes to like hug things. Like so
Mm-hmm.
he'll like, but he hugs them too hard. So he'll like kill puppies, and he kills like rabbits and small animals quite often. And then like the woman, he's like, the woman kind of like, I don't know, she's trying to like give him a hand job or something, and he like gets too excited and she tries to run away, and he like, he kind of smothers her
He was
by accident.
He was touching on her hair, and her hair was so soft and smooth. And Lenny.
Yeah. Okay. I knew that was gonna happen.
Damn.
I knew it.
His name is Lenny. It was
He also looks like me a little bit,
one-letter
so
difference.
let's.
But Lenny, he likes to touch soft, smooth things, and he starts rubbing it. He starts getting into it, and then she starts panicking and throwing this whole fit. Okay, let me go, and then he's like, shh, shh, shh. It cracked her neck. Dead.
Was that in the beginning, like the inciting incident or something?
That's
No, that's towards the end.
I would say that's around the climax.
Yeah.
So what's the story of? But you're okay. So you're speaking about this because you're saying that was the ending, like, and then he got killed at the end. So, gotcha. So what? Okay, so I guess this just real quick. So what was the movie about? If he didn't kill anybody to the end, like they just implied he always was killing people, or like
it's kind of about these two, I guess two cousins who actually, it's kind of dealing with the Great Depression.
Yeah.
And how many men would travel looking for work, and the fact is that they have to constantly travel because Lenny kills or harasses someone because he doesn't know how to control himself with his disability.
But not to cut you off, but prior to this woman, was he only killing like the rabbits or whatever, or had he killed somebody before?
No, the movie starts off with them actually running from like I want to say a barn or a ranch community, ranch workers. I don't know what they're called.
Right.
Farmers.
Sure. About that.
And they're running away because this situation happened again. So it's a great full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. And then Shania, so you basically just didn't like the end specifically.
Yeah, I didn't, because obviously he's dealing with something, and from a mental health standpoint, I just feel like they could have handled it so much better than the way they did, because he's already agitated by the fact that he accidentally killed this person that he cared about. And then they respond by being violent, which does nothing but, further his agitation. So it's like, just, I don't know, it really bothered me.
So was it just because it was kind of like you didn't agree with it because it was kind of like sad and you didn't like how the characters I guess, handled the situation, or you didn't like the choice that the writer, I guess, made to end it like that?
I mean, it's Steinbeck. I mean, he's a classic, but I guess it's just, if I'm talking about the film itself, then it was just the decisions that they made, to kill him at the end. They're really thoughtful.
I mean, I think that is the kind of the point of the film, is that Steinbeck is basically saying that this is how they treat people with disabilities back then. This,
Right.
I mean, was probably written and takes place in the 30s,
Right.
Yeah.
and for him to even have a point of view on that is pretty ahead of his time, and he's saying that even the one that loves him the most in the world, the only thing he knows how to do is either run away from the problems or just eventually kind of kill him. He doesn't really have a solution.
What makes the death far worse than it? I mean, it's already sad, but what makes it even worse is that they had this whole plan to get their own farm, and they actually started saving the money. Every time, I guess every time they didn't get the chance, and then this time everything was working out so good, so well. Sorry, and it was life was looking up for them.
Right.
And then they started saving the money, and then boom, this happens. I accidentally fucked up, George. Fucked up, George.
So so what happens with the, I guess, the other person who's I guess with the mentally challenged person? They're brothers.
No,
They're like cousins.
But I'm saying, who puts him down at the end? The cousin does.
His cousin, yeah.
Because he won't have to keep dealing with that, I guess, for the rest of their life, or his life, I guess.
No, in a way, I feel like it was, but also they were being hunted. So
yeah,
he would rather kill him himself instead of having someone else kill him. But I also felt like, I felt like he was like, I can't keep running away, starting my life over and over again, because of you. So I have to, for the best situation, I have to. And
also, I think he knew that eventually he was going to get caught. If not this time, then sometime down the future. And it always ends in pitchforks and torches, and it's going to end. He's going to get tortured basically, and really, really hurt. So what he does is, his dream, they're talking about the farm, is he always wants to hear about the rabbits. So he's like, tell me about the rabbits, George, tell me about the rabbits. So he starts telling him about the rabbits. He lets Lenny walk ahead of him a little bit and just shoots him in the back of the head very, I guess painlessly. Just kind of, he doesn't know. He's not in any fear. He's not in any, he doesn't know at all,
It's like putting down a cow. When they actually put down a cow, and they'll actually spend time with the cow, make the cow super relaxed, and then pow, right in the skull.
See, putting down. Told you.
Putting down is an apt description. I think that's exactly what he does.
That makes sense.
He euthanizes him.
When it's explained in context, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. So what's the correlation with the mice? Is because they're always on this chase or something, like the cat and mouse chase?
No. I would say I'm assuming you're talking about the title of Mice and Men. I would say the mice kind of refers to actually men, because Lenny is this big dude. He's not a punk or anything. He'll fight if he has to, but he's very meek, if you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think when it's saying of mice and men, it's basically saying weak people and strong people, weak men and strong men.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if you guys think anything different, Lonnie.
I spent a long time on this book and movie in high school, and I'm trying to remember. I think that is exactly what the title is about. Is because there's guys on the farm. I can't remember his name. The guy with the glove.
Andy.
What's his name?
I think his name is Candy. If I remember.
Yeah, he's like a fucking weirdo, and but he's always trying to be tough. His thing is tough. And then when he meets up with Lenny, they get into a tussle, and Lenny just like wipes the floor with him and breaks his hand.
Right. Man.
So it's like that struggle of like, masculinity versus your strength versus what's real strength versus it. Yeah, it's quite involved. It's Steinbeck, right? So Steinbeck is wrapped in all this like symbolism, and I'm sure you guys read Grapes of Wrath in high school. It's
right.
Not easy. They're not easy books to like get through.
I don't even know who the fuck Steinbeck is.
Well, that's unfortunate.
You should.
He's a great author.
Mm-hmm. He's like
say
the American classic author.
Oh, that's cool. What else did he write?
Didn't he write Great Gatsby?
No, that's F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Oh yeah, that is. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think those are his two greatest works.
Yeah, I think so too.
What?
There's probably another one out there that I can think of.
What were the two greatest? Of Mice of Men and what?
Grapes of Wrath.
Yeah.
Oh, Grapes of Wrath.
They both deal with the Great Depression.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that's sweet. So we got anything else about Of Mice of Men?
Well, I just wanted to ask DA, why did you suggest this movie?
Because I figured some of Rudy, some people haven't seen it, and so.
And that's still the case.
Yeah, it's still. Yeah, you didn't solve the problem at all.
It didn't help. It didn't solve. Yeah, I didn't get anywhere in the situation.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. One thing I wanted to add is I think it's really cool. I love John Malkovich. And I think he's one of those actors that like, he's so hard to pin down. You have these actors that they just play themselves in every movie, like Vince Vaughn comes to mind. It's just like, what is Vince Vaughn doing in this situation today? What is Vince Vaughn doing in that situation?
Right.
Whereas like John Malkovich, he's kind of like a Gary Oldman, where he just like becomes the character and you lose him.
Yeah. I agree.
Like in this movie specifically, John Malkovich is like this, he's supposed to look like me. He's supposed to be like 6 feet, very heavy man with like big hands. And John Malkovich, if you watch Space Force, he's this like nerdy, dweeby scientist.
Right.
So just physically to be able to like change your physicality is not easy to do.
That's true.
Like Christian Bale, he's able to just like change himself
every time.
And John Malkovich, I think, is really an underrated actor today. But I like him quite a bit.
I was gonna say that. I think he's very underrated. Like all the hits that he has. I mean, I feel like people don't think that he's as good of an actor as he is. Obviously, that's what underrated is. But yeah, I'm just saying.
That's pretty much exactly what it is. But it's we get it. Is there any African American actors you think that about? Just out of curiosity, Daryl.
Like what? Underrated.
Underrated, yeah. They all are just as bad as you thought. All right, I get it.
You know what? I think Michael B. Jordan is really underrated.
Mm-hmm.
You think he's underrated?
Yeah, I think people, because what have we really seen him in? We've seen.
You know what I'm saying? You think he's overrated or under?
I said under.
So you don't think he gets enough credit?
I don't think he gets enough credit. Like,
really?
Have you seen Just Mercy?
Yeah, that's a really good.
No, I'm saying, but I thought, he seemed like he's pretty much kind of like one of the biggest stars, in my opinion, especially as far as black actors, young black actors.
I mean, he can be a big star, but that doesn't mean people look at the roles that he keeps getting. I mean, Just Mercy was his first step out of his box.
How? He started off with Fruitvale Station as far as his first big movie, as an adult at least.
Okay, I mean,
I'm saying, but Fruitvale Station is nowhere near Creed or Killmonger.
That's true.
I guess.
You think about technically 3 movies, but Black Panther and the Creed series, those are the 2 that was like him, big macho or whatever, but everything else was kind of,
I don't know. I feel like he was in the box for the past few years, and they're allowing him to step out now because he's getting such a name. He was just in a movie about firefighters.
But But I think those roles. I mean, even though they were, I guess, kind of similar, I think they were pretty important for his career because, I mean, like with the Creed movie, he wasn't just a boxer. Like that was a carry on from the Rocky series, so that was like a big deal. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, you know, being in Black Panther, that's a Marvel movie, so that's gonna be a big deal. So I feel like even though those were similar, I think they were the right roles to give him that, I guess, ultimate propel that he needed to be able to go do Just Mercy on his own or whatever. Because I mean, I get what you're saying as far as Just Mercy. People didn't respect it, that particular movie, but I don't think it had anything to do with his performance. I just think it had to deal with more of the subject matter more than the performance.
My point is, like, it's not about his status in the world or anything. It's just when people think about Michael B. Jordan, they think bulky, good for only one kind of thing, which is kind of an action. But they don't really understand the drama side that he can bring out.
Right, but what I'm saying is, I think that's for one, I didn't have that thought even prior to this conversation, but I think that it's easy to have that thought because his last three major movies, last three movies in general, prior to Just Mercy, were the two Creeds and Black Panther, pretty much. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, those were the ones he was kind of touring around the world and doing all this press about. So I think it's just kind of locked in with that. Just like with Kevin Hart with his first, couple movies, like he can try to do something different now, but people are going to always say like, oh, he's always done this, but they may not have seen the movies he did prior to the big one. And so what I'm saying is I think a lot of actors get locked into whatever the big ones are that people remember, but I don't think it necessarily had anything to do with the entire resume. You know what I'm saying? Because I kind of followed Michael, I didn't say followed him, but I watched him from Hardball through TV stuff, even all the way through to now. So I've kind of just seen the progression, but I think if you're kind of more privy to him now, he looks kind of more in a box. And I'm not the biggest Michael B. Jordan fan. I'm not trying to I guess vouch for him or whatever. But just in my eyes, I think he's kind of one of the biggest young Black actors that's
for sure.
That's on the rise. In my opinion, that's what I've.
No, I definitely agree. I just, we are different because we are filmmakers and we watch this stuff. But as far as the mass of people or the general people, they probably aren't thinking the same way we do.
But that's what I'm saying. I think they are. I think that the mass people think that Michael B. Jordan's a big star. I can't think of anybody who does not think
he's a big star. But they're not gonna say, oh, he can do this and he can do that. They're gonna
his acting chops. You mean?
Yeah, his acting chops. I'm not talking about his. Like I said, I'm not talking about his status. I'm talking about him as an actor.
But I'm saying,
to see him as
BA. He was emotional in Creed. People cried watching Creed. This man, did you not see in Creed 2 when he had his baby right there and he was punching the heavy bag and he screamed at the end and then he looked at his baby and realized the baby was watching? That was a very dramatic scene. You got to go back and watch my boy. So you trying to hate on my boy because he's Black. I know what this is about. You don't want him to be great because you're racist. My boy,
I had to let you say it, Rudy. I couldn't say it myself.
You're worried about all the big macho action scenes, but he was outside. I don't think he was that emotional in Black Panther, but in both Creeds was definitely emotional situations. Rocky being sick, the situation with his girl and her being deaf, them having a baby, wondering if the baby gonna be deaf. All this stuff was happening. This was a pretty emotional movie, man.
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like Black Panther, out of his works that I've seen, Black Panther was the one that I think might have been the one that actually affected his image in terms of acting, because we know what he can do from Creed and from Fruitvale Station and all that. But I feel like Killmonger wasn't.
I didn't like Killmonger.
Yeah, it wasn't his strongest role.
Black Panther was not a great movie. I don't know why people. I mean, it's a
right,
you know what
we got to click about that.
I mean, it's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. But it's not like.
Hey, he just pulled his race card. It's over now.
It's not like a. It's not a. It's nothing new. You know what I mean? Like it's a superhero movie. You've got a villain. You've got this. You've got that. There are layers to it, of course, that you don't see in every superhero movie. The slavery thing. It asks some good questions, but I don't think it did anything that like blew anyone's mind.
It wasn't a good Marvel movie. It wasn't like as far as like a superhero action pack, whatever. Like it wasn't. I didn't necessarily get that from it at all. I think it was a great movie as far as like the message, whatever, like that. But in reference to going to see a Marvel superhero action movie, especially because, and I always make this comparison, especially because of how much of a badass Black Panther was in Civil War.
Civil War, right.
Like, I didn't think he was possibly, like, stoppable. And then you get in Black Panther and he's losing every battle. And I'm just like, this not the same nigga. You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of like, if there was a disappointment for me, like, it didn't feel like I was going to see whoever that was in Civil War. You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw, you know, somebody who was just trying to figure out how to become that person. You know what I'm saying? So
I have an underrated Black actor for you guys. The guy from Uncut Gems.
Lakeith Stanfield.
Oh, definitely.
That guy.
But he's another person.
Every role.
But he's the same. And he's that same monotone, low key Black person in every movie. Though.
You think so?
He can act. Don't get me wrong. He can act. But if you look at him in Atlanta, if you look at him in Uncut Gems, you look at him in Sorry to Bother You. Any of these movies, he still maintains that. Even Knives Out. I seen Knives Out recently. Even as a detective, he's still that same person. Like, he doesn't disappear in the role to me. He's a great actor. So? I'm not taking away from him, but I don't.
Because I thought in Atlanta he's this like goofy stoner, and then in Uncut Gems he has this like, you know, bravado and gravitas, and then in Knives Out he's a very like believable detective. I think he disappears a little bit.
I think although it may seem the same, I feel like he is approaching it differently. But his acting capabilities, he is underrated because he keep going into that box, that one box, mellow, as you would say, Rudy.
Well, what about Get Out? I mean, even though he had like a brief.
It was the same thing.
No, not when he had to act as, you know,
I'm saying, but that's still that mellow, laid back persona. He's never done anything outside of being the laid back, cool person. Even when he was on the phone in the beginning, man, getting followed, looking for the plays, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then he gets choked or whatever. Then he becomes the white dude in the black body. Same thing. And all I'm saying is he's never been the person. He's always, hey man, even in Uncut Gems, like he would turn up a little bit to like, you know, fuss at Adam Sandler for like always bothering him or whatever, but he was still always the cool guy. He just always that guy. Just
I don't know.
Laid back cool guy.
Rudy, you being racist.
No, I think he's great. I think he's a great actor. I think he's great at what he does. I don't think Denzel disappears in that many roles. I mean, you kind of, when you see Denzel is kind of
right.
He gives you him. Okay, all right.
Denzel disappears in his role. To me, anyway.
No, I said not in all of his roles. I'm saying like he disappeared in like Training Day and different stuff like that. But I'm saying in most roles you see Denzel, you're going to get the facial expressions, the way he hold his mouth, the way he walks. Like he's going to give you him is what I'm saying. You feel what I'm saying? You're gonna always see those images. It's very, like Jamie Foxx does well especially when he does portraying people, but he does well as far as imitating somebody and completely going into that role.
Jamie Foxx is the best at that. He really disappears.
You know what I'm
saying? TMZ just released a video of.
You doing Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
I think he's gonna murder it.
Huh?
He gonna murder that role.
Yeah.
You hear his impression.
Yeah, I heard.
Well, he used to do that. You remember he used to do that impression on In Living Color years ago.
Yeah. He did it on this comedy special they did a while ago. I Might Need Security.
Right. He's been doing Mike Tyson for 30 years.
Yeah, he gonna body it. He's gonna body it.
I'm
gonna body it.
For that movie.
But no, but I think not that Lakeith Stanfield ever watched this, but I think he's a great actor. I'm not taking anything away from him, but I don't. He may even be underrated. I'm not taking that away either. But to me, I don't think he.
Now he's looking up black actors.
Yeah, because I.
Well, why? No. Keep going. No. Look him up. That's fine.
Yeah, I wanted to see. Curious.
And we can actually we can keep splashing in the black history facts as we go. But going on to the next movie, Perfect Blue. Shania, did you see Perfect Blue? Were you able to watch it?
Yeah.
Okay. And so everybody's seen Perfect Blue. You seen it, Lonnie?
Yeah, kind of.
We tried to watch it. Is what me and Lonnie are basically saying.
Right. I attempted to watch this movie.
I dozed off.
I look over.
Okay. So everybody was able to push play. Whether you finished it after play was a whole different thing.
Right.
Shania finished it. She watched it, and I watched the ending. And so basically, what I understand the beginning and the ending is that.
Okay, but before you give that, hold on one second. Shania, did you like it?
No.
And Lana didn't like it. You're like, okay. So I'll be on the side of liking it just for the sake of argument. So y'all go ahead with your go ahead with what you were saying, DA.
So basically, what I understand is that this girl was being stalked by a secret admirer who eventually became her at the end and then tried to kill her.
It was her agent, wasn't it? Wasn't her agent the one that did the killing?
Oh, well, okay. See, I missed the movie.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't. As far in reference to that whole situation, like who was the real chick, and I was completely confused.
Yeah.
I'm not.
This movie sucked. Let's just get it out there. This movie was not.
Nobody on this podcast suggested it, so it's not even.
Right.
We can dog it out as bad as we want to. Honestly, nobody's gonna be hurt. But it was.
I tell him.
It was. No, I honestly did fall asleep the first 2 times watching it. I did. But I did finish it, and I thought it was good for one. Not the movie was good, but I thought this one thing was good about it. That it had a. I guess it had a real behind the scenes look of what people are willing to do, I guess, to try to break into the industry type thing, especially women in particular. Like I thought that was very, I ain't gonna say dope because she kind of went through some fucked up shit, but I thought that was pretty interesting, if you will. You know what I'm saying? I think they could have left out all the weirdness as far as who was the real killer, and I did understand why they kept flashing back and forth between, like, you couldn't tell if this was them shooting a scene or if this is real life, whatever like that. I understood that to the certain degree of maybe she getting lost in that world. I still never connected any of that to whoever the fuck the killer was at the end and who was the real person and who was the chick looking like her skipping around. I never understood that. But.
I think that was the cultural difference, like the reasons that we couldn't like pick up on some of the nuances. It was just like, that's how the Japanese make those movies.
Right.
And we're used to a certain like Western style. And like a lot of the movie, like they kept showing things that were in Japanese language that we were supposed to be getting, you know? And I'm like, no, I'm not, I don't get it.
I'm like,
they look at something like, oh, and I'm like, what?
It's like, yo, this movie would be really good if I could read what the fuck was on this paper right now. I have no idea what this is. Go ahead, D.
No, I had made a joke and said, what does it say?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that shit was confusing. But
it was also a little bit like Phantom of the Opera. There was some Phantom of the Opera stuff going on, which I thought the movie was going to be originally, and it didn't. It was not that towards the end.
When it first opened up, it had the Power Rangers. I was like,
right.
This does not match Perfect Blue. What, the Blue Ranger's going to become a new Ranger? He's going to get an upgrade? What's happening?
Right.
Yeah, I totally thought they were going to be involved in the story for some reason.
This is what I wrote to DJ. I don't know if y'all can read it. Maybe not, because it basically says, yo, the link you sent me, is it a Power Rangers cartoon? I didn't know. I was like, yo, this can't be the right movie. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I watched it for like 2 minutes. I was like, okay, so what's happening? And then Perfect Blue come up. After these girls start singing on stage.
Yeah.
10 minutes in, I look over and he's snoring. That's exactly what happened.
You have to keep waking me up.
I did.
I woke up in the middle, and then apparently she was getting more roles in the script that they were writing or whatever. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. I was just the creepy guy. Because they set him up to be the killer, right? And then they show that he was I guess he was working with the agent, or if that was his imagination, I don't know. But it was just
so
it was so weird.
The creepy guy didn't transform his body to look like her.
No, he was a real person apparently.
But see, wasn't he was at the end of the scene when didn't they cut after she killed him? Like, and like cameras was out, but then he ended up in the back of the trunk or something with another body or something like that. Didn't that happen? Or maybe
yeah, like I guess he was trying to rape her or something. She hit him in the head, and then she goes back to show her manager the body, but it was gone. So we're like, oh, did it really happen? And then later on, they show him like in a different place, but his head was bashed in or something. So
Right.
it was like, okay, he's obviously real, but it was just
Yeah, it
the
was.
way they did it was like at first when they kept going back and forth with the show, I'm thinking, oh, that'd be cool, you know, if this is the role she's playing, and then like somehow it's like real life. Like I thought that would be a better story than
Right.
what ended up being the agent, you know. So
You know, when DJ was telling me about it, he was like, it's supposed to be like Black Swan, or it was
Right.
inspiration of Black Swan.
That's what I was thinking.
And while I was watching the few minutes that I watched, I was like, I don't see the correlation to it, or I don't see the comparison, because it's to first off, again, it started off with Power Rangers,
yeah,
and then you have a girl going into filming or going into acting, whereas maybe is it if you guys can answer this question, is it the fact that she was trying to figure out what is real and what isn't?
What do you mean? Like as far
Because
as
in Black Swan, the girl couldn't kind of separate the actual.
are you saying what compares the two movies?
Yeah,
Oh, I ain't seen
like
that.
is you never seen.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I have either. But from what I can understand in the movie, though, I think part of it wasn't just, it was more about figuring out who her real self was it this idol person, that who she was, or like, you know, is she really an actor? So it was more of like her coming out from the image of being this pop idol.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I'm thinking it just didn't make any sense. I mean, she's in the radio station and she sees herself skipping around, and I'm like, okay, so no one else sees that it's her manager dressed up as her skipping around a freaking radio station. Like, it was weird. That was a weird movie.
I think it would have been a much better movie without whatever that element was of the confusion of the killer and who the person really is in the outfit skipping around. They could have left that out, and I would have been fine with the rest of it.
Rudy, I just want you to know that you're supposed to be defending the film.
As far as it being good, I'm saying the good part was the message. I'm saying the message as far as
all your feedback.
But I'm saying, no, that's not true. Even what Shania said, as far as them showing like her, you know, trying to find her identity. I didn't say that exact same thing, but I said it to the degree of, I like the message with them showing trying to become an actor, or actress, and her, you know, the things she had to do, but also them looping in real life events with stuff that she was filming, and it was confusing to her, and it made it purposely confusing to the audience so that you could get the depiction of she was starting to lose the recognition of the difference between what was real life and what was happening on TV. Because she started with just her little small roles, but then in order to get deeper into it, you know, they made her do a rape scene and all this other type of stuff, whatever. It was pretty intense for a cartoon. I did go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, what was with the naked pictures? Is that a real thing? Like,
yeah, I think that's what she was doing to, like, you know how like all those pop stars like Miley Cyrus and Britney Spears and all those, they have to like separate, you know, because they grow up being like these like girls, and they have to. There's a point in all their careers where they have to become sex symbols.
Yeah.
You know, like Miley Cyrus had that very clear distinction from Hannah Montana. She's like, okay, I'm not Hannah Montana anymore. Now I'm Miley Cyrus. You know, here's my tits, basically.
Because that was a girl. That was like a girl group that she grew up in with the other two girls. Right.
But you know, that's been going on forever. You know, Britney Spears did that. You know, the one who really, really managed to like ride the wave with like grace the whole time was Hilary Duff. Hilary Duff like never like showed her tits and never really like went trashy, but still maintained, like she is now a woman. She gets like, you know, she's a professional. She gets good roles. She has high esteem. You know, she's like well esteemed. She never like lost her mind. Because you know they all have the same agent, like Paris Hilton, Britney Spears, Miley Cyrus. They all have the same publicist. So they all do the same shit.
Hilary Duff still acting?
Hilary Duff is in that show Younger.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think she's about to get her own show. And I also think they're gonna remake what was her show, Lizzie McGuire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
They're gonna reboot it. Like she's gonna be in it again. But the only reason she can do that is because she didn't like ruin her image really. Like they can never make Hannah Montana again.
Yeah.
No, that's it.
I would say Selena Gomez did that too. She was really good about sort of transitioning from Disney to her own music career.
But she do the Spring Breakers movie, and she got like naked and did all the drugs in that movie too. I never saw that movie.
I don't know if Selena. I know what's her name was in there. Vanessa Hudgens was in there. I don't know if Selena Gomez was.
Yeah.
I thought they both were in that movie.
She might have. I don't know. I don't know.
But she did date Justin Bieber, so that might be the crazy.
Oh my gosh, no.
That gave her the edge.
But yeah, but Shania, to what you were saying, like the naked pictures part, I think that was definitely like the part of her like not being a pop star anymore. Now she's she's a sex symbol.
Yeah.
Oh, she wasn't.
She's like moved on.
It was just so weird because it wasn't even like hinting at nakedness. It was just full on.
Well, yeah, it's a cartoon. So they drew everything.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, when that scene came on, I was like, DJ, you dirty dog.
I think it was that same scene. Daryl woke up. He was like, okay, now I'm interested.
You dirty, dirty boy.
Freaking cartoon.
I think DA's favorite part of the movie was that there were no black people, so that was good for him. He's like, okay, I can get into this movie.
At the beginning, when the guy started fighting, the fat guy who was throwing the cans on the stage.
Right, he was like Filipino.
Oh, I thought those were dreads, so I was like, oh, that.
Oh, maybe you're right. Right.
I thought he was black too.
Yeah, I thought it was black. Yeah.
That one dude.
It takes place in Japan. I don't know how many. I have to ask my brother.
Yeah. Which I thought that was weird too, because they had a lot of Americans over there on that set. Like that TV show they were shooting. Like,
I think that's pretty much how it goes. I think there's a lot of Americans that like run the Japanese entertainment industry.
Yeah. Okay. Before we move into our last movie, did we have any more? Did you find any black actors or something? Whatever you were.
I have one. I don't know his name, but he was on the show called You Suck or Everything Sucks on Netflix. It was like one season. Actually, he was in Queen and Slim, the kid who ended up shooting.
From the New Edition movie.
Yeah. I can't remember his name.
He's in something else too, isn't he?
I think so. Let me see if I can find his name. 1 second.
He's not the one in the Wu-Tang show, right?
No, not that guy. What's his name?
I've definitely seen him in something.
Is it Jahai Winston? I don't know.
He was also, wasn't he in with who was that? Taraji P. Henson played somebody. She played like a movie. She was like
Proud Mary. Yeah, he was in
Proud Mary.
Proud Mary. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a phone call.
Let me see. I heard Proud Mary wasn't good. His name is Ja Diallo Winston.
Yeah.
Jahi Diallo Winston.
Rudy, can you tell me other things he's been in? Because I feel like I've seen him in something, but I never saw Proud Mary.
Everything Sucks, Charm City Kings, The Upside, Queen and Slim, The Dead Don't Die. I can show you a picture of him.
Which one was The Upside?
With
Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston.
They remade that movie.
Oh.
As the guy in the wheelchair.
Yeah. It was a good movie.
It's a younger picture of him, but this kid is.
Yeah.
So you saying you think he's underrated?
Yeah, I do. I think he should definitely get more roles. He's a great actor.
He's just a kid, though.
No, he's not. Well, I say he's like a teenager now, but look at what's her name? Marseille something.
Marseille Martin.
Yeah. She's a kid. She gets roles. She's a producer.
Maybe
he needs to start producing, I guess.
Maybe get more roles as he grows up.
Yeah, maybe.
As long as he don't show his tits before he gets older.
Right. Got to do it gracefully.
gracefully. All right, cool. All right, well, let's get into this last film. Obviously, I mean, I didn't see the first one, but I would say the best of the two that I saw. Goodfellas, directed by Martin Scorsese. And I know, Lonnie, you picked this film.
Yes, I did.
Is this one of your top three in life or something? How do you feel about it?
No, I mean, it's definitely one of my favorite gangster movies. It's one of my favorite mafia movies. I'm a big mafia movie fan. I also think it's Martin Scorsese's best film in terms of like the pacing, the dialogue. It's really Martin Scorsese. He figured it all out, and that's this movie. Like Casino, it's a little too violent. Once Upon a Time in America is a little too long. Taxi Driver is a little too bleak. But here he really meshes all of that together. And this to me is his masterpiece.
I don't know.
That scene where they're it's all one shot, where he's walking into the club on that date. That to me is when if I feel dope when I go to a comedy venue, that's the scene that's playing in my mind. I love the action. Joe Pesci, I mean, is at his fucking best. Robert De Niro, even the auxiliary characters like Paul Sorvino, just that fucking tough, the Don, the scene. I mean, if a director can make slicing garlic with a fucking razor blade interesting, that's an art,
For sure.
I mean, the movie, it never lets up, and then one of the reasons I suggested this movie is because when I was reading through some of the reviews of Uncut Gems, somebody said that Uncut Gems is the scene in Goodfellas where Ray Liotta is on coke and watching thinking that the helicopter is following him and trying to tear up the cocaine and dump it up. That's, what's that, a 5-minute scene? But Uncut Gems is that for 2 hours.
Right. Gotcha. Gotcha. Hey.
But yeah, I love Goodfellas. It's a great movie. It's violent but also cool. Samuel L. Jackson.
DA, you seem like you had a little reserve when he said it was I guess one of his best. You don't think this is one of?
No. I personally like Casino. Maybe it's because it was one of my first Martin Scorsese movies I seen. So me watching it as a kid, I was like, damn, they just killed this dude and his brother.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like all the. I don't know. I was more intrigued by Casino versus Goodfellas.
I think Casino is cool because they teach you a lot about the casino industry.
Right.
It gives you this image. And then Martin Scorsese, he flipped it in The Irishman. In The Irishman, he talks about the casinos, which it's the other side of the movie. And then in Casino, they talk about the Teamsters, which is what, Martin Scorsese did the other end of the movie Casino in The Irishman with Jimmy Hoffa. So he really dove deep into that world, which is also very cool. It's cool when he gets into the nitty gritty of an industry. I think that's cool.
Right.
Yeah.
I just disagreed with that. That was I don't. It's nothing to really argue about. It's really just personal preference.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you
Casino
think?
is also a great film. I like Casino quite a bit.
Right. What'd you think about it, Shania?
I really liked it. I'm not gonna lie. I did. I was asleep in the beginning of it, only because I was kind of hungover from last night. So yeah. But I really enjoyed it from when I woke up. It was good. I will say, I personally The Godfather is my favorite movie. So to me, it's not on the same level. But no, I mean it's Scorsese, so I'm not gonna judge it. But personal preference, I think I like The Godfather better. But yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know why, but for some reason I'm thinking, oh, is the Irishman related to this for some kind of way? Because Robert De Niro, and I'm like, oh, it's Jimmy after he got out and he's in the Irishman now. I don't know. Because I feel like Scorsese, there is this theme of, I don't know. Yeah, well, yeah, all his movies are sort of like that. But I guess I just I've never really been a Scorsese fan. So this is my first really movie of his watching. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
All of the Scorsese movies are except for The Departed, but Casino, Goodfellas, and The Irishman, they're all true stories and all of those guys knew each other. So yeah, it does intersect. Like those guys are in other movies, but like yeah, Jimmy Hoffa dealt with the Teamster Union, which dealt with the casinos. Remember in The Irishman, they're like using the loans. The casinos are like getting their loans from the Teamsters. They're like getting money from them. So that's all that going back and forth. You know, those movies all connect with each other.
Didn't you say this earlier, Lonnie?
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
But no, because I asked him afterwards. I'm like, oh, is this related? He's like, nah, it's not related at all. So
that's just I didn't put two and two together. Okay. But listening to Lonnie talk about it, it makes sense.
Oh, all right.
I mean, she did say she was always right earlier, but you know, this doesn't prove that. But whatever, you know.
Doesn't prove anything.
I'm going to tell you one problem I did have with the movie. I do like Goodfellas. Goodfellas is a very good movie. I don't have a problem with the movie itself, but this was a huge issue for me. Okay, I think that Scorsese or whoever made the decision did a very bad job with the way these motherfuckers age in a movie. Okay, because if it wasn't for, I think the girl he ended up marrying ever mentioning the fact that Ray Liotta was 21 years old, I would have never guessed that he was a 21-year-old at all. I just thought he grew up and he was just grown as fuck now. And then so when she said 21, I'm like, yo, this motherfucker look too old to be 21. Sure. But because you got and then you're using pretty much the same characters like Robert De Niro. All these people are still the same from when he was a kid all the way through his adulthood, and you're just trying to add streaks of gray or whatever the case may be. Like, I don't know if because maybe they already had a big enough cast and they couldn't keep trying to layer it each age, but I thought that was just stupid. Like, I was like, yo, these people literally look the same. Like, they almost have, if it wasn't for the narration, you wouldn't know where they were at in life, besides the fact that, okay, the kids are older now, but he still looks the same as when they were babies. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I guess I hold all of that to such a high regard because of the fact that I guess the stature of this film. You know what I'm saying? It's the way it was shot, the acting performances. I thought all of that was good. And watching this definitely showed how far Hollywood has came, even with special effects, because like I could tell every time they like where the blood was coming from and all that shit. Like that wasn't really fooling anybody. But I get it. It was a different time. Like they didn't have the same stuff as now. But the aging process, I thought was a little lazy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, Martin Scorsese, I think he struggles with that. Because did you see The Irishman?
I seen the first couple minutes, but I heard that it was pretty much the same thing.
I mean, that's my biggest problem with the movie is like Robert De Niro, they just like DH him, but he's very clearly a 70-year-old man that's supposed to be like 22. It's awful. It like never, it doesn't suspend my disbelief at all. It's like I'm watching a movie.
Right.
You know, the problem with that is that we know what Robert De Niro looked like when he was that age.
Right.
And I'm like, that's not him.
Right.
I mean, even his walk was like an old man. He was
right. The scene where he like beats up the guy
that day.
Yeah.
One thing I do like about Scorsese is his character moments. Like from a screenwriting perspective, I think he really does that well. Like one of my favorite scenes from Goodfellas is when what's his name? Lonnie? Or no, not sorry. What is his name? The main guy. Henry Hill.
Henry.
When he was asleep and then his wife's like on top of him and she has the gun pointed at him. I love that part because it's so realistic. It's like, you know, I can't pull the trigger because I'm still attracted to this guy.
Right.
I feel like, you know, it's those human moments that really makes the character for me. So that was like one of my favorite parts.
I loved it when he beats the shit out of the neighbor with the gun.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
I was gonna say that if she was a black woman, he would have been dead.
Yeah.
He would have woke up. She would have shot him out of his sleep.
Exactly. I was like, you know, if this was Shania and me, whole different ending.
I thought it was very interesting and it was very fitting, but as and this isn't going back into my joke about the whole racism thing, but as a black man growing up or as a black child growing up, I've heard the term that I heard in this film before, but it was in two totally different situations. results, I guess, because the one of the mothers, I forgot who it was, whose it was. But one of their mothers was like he had on the full suit, and she was like, "You look like a gangster." I think it was when he was younger, when Henry was younger. She was like, "You look like a gangster," and he got on a full suit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I remember my mom telling me the same things, and I didn't have nowhere near a full suit on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had like pants sagging, gold teeth, you know, whatever. And the fact that that's, you know, I guess what a gangster looked like was just so interesting to me that, because if I showed it to my mom doorstep at that age in a full suit, my mom would be like, "You look like a respectable man." You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you look like you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we
Calvin
want.
got a job.
And this motherfucker got on a suit, and she's like, "No, this is not what I want for you." You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just thought that was very interesting, because in their world, that's a suit does not mean respectable man, in this respect, in the sense of being legit or whatever. Like, you know, that means that you're in that world. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, because they're like bus drivers and grocery store clerks, and they don't wear suits. You know?
It also could be the kind of style of suit that he had on. It was very kind of a shiny material.
I think a lot of it was the fact that he couldn't. There's no way he could have afforded it.
Right.
No, I'm saying the style of the suit also has to play into looking like a gangster versus a businessman. Because a businessman wouldn't wear a shiny suit unless he was Wolf of Wall Street. And even still, in Wolf of Wall Street, they didn't, which is, I think, the best Martin Scorsese film. But that's neither here or there. They didn't wear shiny suits at all, and they were true gangsters, taking money, doing coke, all the shit.
But they were businessmen though. They weren't gangsters. They were just, you know, some shiesty ass people. But like the reason why they were gangsters in Goodfellas, because like they was killing them up. Even though Joe Pesci was kind of crazy with it, like him shooting the kid in the foot or even shooting him dead, that didn't break stride in their daily life. They just okay, how do we get rid of this body? You know, so whatever. And like, oh, you need to chill out. Like that's almost like if he was playing too rough and accidentally, you know, suffocate him till he passed out. They were like, man, you almost killed him. Like he shot him to death in front of all of them, and they just pretty much almost went back to the card game, if you will. You know what I'm saying?
They're like, what'd you do that for?
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like a total different mentality. And that, you know, and that mob shit is real. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that, but once again, that stood out to me so much, mainly because even if I showed up in a shiny suit, my mom still would never have a perception of gangster in any form or fashion. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that in their world that's considered gangster, I just thought that was, I thought it was pretty interesting.
And what an opening to Goodfellas. It might be one of my favorite parts. Is ever since I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Yeah.
What a way to start a movie, you know?
Yeah.
I like,
you know, Shania to go to talk to a screenwriter. Like that's like, what a way to like set the tone with literally the first line of the movie is one of the most famous lines of the entire movie. Mm-hmm. You know, whenever anybody talks about the movie Goodfellas, they always say ever since I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Right.
Oh, what a movie.
And that's what the whole movie ends up like literally just being about. Just that complete, no matter what they talk about, it's all surrounded about him wanting to be a gangster and, you know, and growing up in that life, whatever like that. So yeah.
And then ends up being one of the most famous snitches in history.
Well, speaking of that, not snitching, but the opening line or the narration, I thought that whole approach to the movie was phenomenal because he's basically telling us what happened. To me, it felt like he was talking to the FBI, him and his wife, and they basically spilling all the beans on the table, and then at the end, where he ends up at the house. I feel like again full circle.
Mm-hmm.
No, for sure. Is he still alive?
You know, there's another movie. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. It's called My Blue Heaven. And it's like, it's a comedy. It's a Steve Martin movie. But he plays Henry Hill when he's in witness protection. And it's like a goofy movie. But it's the same character in another part of his life. And if we could find it for free, I would suggest watching it, but I'd have to do a little research.
Yeah. What is it called?
It's called My Blue Heaven. It's with Rick Moranis, Joan Cusack, Steve Martin, of course. It's really a really fun movie. I've seen it 150 times.
It's not free.
It's not.
No, it's not free. Okay. Did anybody have anything else about Goodfellas, Of Mice and Men, Perfect Blue, or even any other underrated black actors in the industry, or filmmakers, or writers, or producers? Nobody? That's it. I mean, you don't have to be that specific. It can be about the movies, anything. Anybody got any more comments about filmmaking in general?
Do you guys like Chadwick Boseman?
I don't think he's underrated.
I do.
No, I don't think he's underrated either. I just wonder your opinion on him.
No, I think he's a phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to think. I think he's done good in most things. Anything I've ever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
He was Did you guys watch the James Brown movie?
Yeah.
He bodied James Brown, and that was surprising.
He killed that shit.
I did not.
That was so good.
Guessed for him to play James Brown, but after I watched him, like he disappeared in that role for sure.
For sure. And Jackie Robinson too. You know, we don't know Jackie Robinson that well, like his like mannerisms and stuff. Right. But I really liked that movie too.
Yeah. The movie was good, but as far as like me knowing if he was acting like Jackie Robinson, I would never know. But James Brown was massively impressive.
Especially how James Brown like aged. Like that was cool. Watching him like in different parts.
I'm glad you said that because that's what Scorsese should have did with these motherfuckers. Like, cause he was pretty much the same person. He started as a young man and went all the way even to being older, but they added the necessities.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe I don't know. Maybe Scorsese. Well, I don't know. Maybe he couldn't do it back then because they didn't have the same thing. But that's a good example of aging. That James Brown movie, same person, but he aged good.
And Ray also aged really well too. Like throughout the movie, he changes. You know, I don't know why Martin Scorsese must not. That just might not be his thing, you know.
He's like the same makeup artist every time.
Maybe because The Irishman, like, you know, it really took me out of the movie how shitty the aging thing was.
Yeah.
You know, somebody like did it on their own. They did their own like de-aging of Robert De Niro, and it looked like Robert De Niro. Like it looked like how he looked in The Deer Hunter and Raging Bull, and then I was like, okay, now this would be dope to watch.
Right.
But I don't want to watch 80-year-old Robert De Niro looking tough as a 30-year. You know, fuck you.
That's hilarious. Okay, cool. Well, I guess Shania, since we have you here, do you have a film that you would like for us, that you would like highly suggest for us gentlemen to watch?
I do. I haven't watched it myself yet, but
okay.
It's called The Platform. Have you guys seen it yet? It's on Netflix.
Oh fuck.
The Platform?
Have you seen it?
Yeah. No, I've seen like bits and pieces of it, but it's like one of those movies I've really been avoiding watching.
Same.
But yeah, I'll watch it. Fuck.
Why you been avoiding watching it?
Because it looks super heavy.
Yeah.
What is it?
Have you heard about it? Have you heard about the film, Rudy?
No, I'm looking at it now. What is it? What is it about?
So pretty much is like, I don't know if they're prisoners or whatever, but there's only like a platform of food, and the person at the highest level gets obviously first.
Oh, I have heard about it. I think somebody in our class was talking about this. I think somebody it's like a classism type of movie.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I suggest it because I mean I've gotten polarized opinions on it. Some people like it, some people don't. So
The Platform. I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
She's not gonna watch it with me.
I am because I want to see it. It's on my list.
And Lonnie, you want Five Bloods?
Yeah, I'm sorry to do that to you guys, but yeah, well, maybe you guys will love it. I don't know.
No. I always intended on watching because it's Spike Lee, so like I'm gonna support just off the cuff. But off of the trailer, I definitely wasn't in a rush. Is what I was saying. Like I wasn't. It didn't.
You know, to me that's my kind of movie, bro. Like a Vietnam movie, like that's my shit. I love army, military movies. But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it next week. But
yeah. And then I actually have a movie that it's not free, but I bought it
Oh, do we
on
go
the
on strike? Do we?
I bought it, so it's free. I'm just gonna give you the link. What I'm saying, so you don't have to look for it, but I will send the link. But I don't know if y'all seen it. It's called Snow on the Bluff. It used to be on Netflix, but it's not anymore.
Snow on the Bluff. Oh yeah. Curtis Snow or whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never watched it, but I heard about it. Yeah.
That's gonna be a good one. So I got
On the Bluff?
yeah. Snow.
It's like
on
real. It's like
THA.
he plays himself, right?
I rather y'all just watch. We'll just talk about it next time. I don't want to give too much away. But why didn't look for that? So that'll be our 3 movies for next week. You got the platform.
I think I found it for free if you don't want to pay for it.
I already own it, so it's not about.
Yeah, I don't know if Lonnie owned it.
It doesn't matter. I own it, so I'm going to send the link, and everybody can watch it. DA, why are you so argumentative all the time? You just want to start something all the time.
My life. This is every day.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
If it's either way, it's going to be free to watch it. If you found a different way, or if y'all use my link, you guys will be able to watch it. I promise you.
I just forgot you mentioned the link, man. I'm sorry.
So we got the platform, Five Bloods, and Snow on the Bluff. Cool. So that'll work. Well, Shania, we thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Shania. Nice to meet you.
You as well.
Putting up with our shit. When are you guys heading back from Arizona?
Tomorrow or Monday?
Yeah.
Janesville, Minnesota.
Where in Arizona are you guys?
Well, right now we're in Mesa, but
Chandler.
it's
Phoenix.
They argue about everything.
For real.
Mason, Chandler. Well, that's what's up. Well, safe travels to you guys. Lonnie, appreciate you again, brother, for joining us and representing
Always,
Black
man.
Pride in the absence of Daryl. This has been another episode of Dumbass Film Students, man. This is posted every single week on No Life Boys Productions YouTube channel. That's NOLIFEBOYZZ Productions. You can find me at Willy Nilly If You're Nasty on Instagram. We got Cox Comedy from my boy Lonnie Cox. We got D_A_Henry, aka the racist, and then Shania. What's your social media?
At Elise Catherine with 2 L's. Yeah.
You might need to spell all of that. Jesus. You think the 2 L's was the struggle? What about the rest of it? Okay. And it's Annalise Catherine?
At Elise Catherine.
Elise. So Elise Catherine is it?
Yeah.
And 2 L's in Elise.
Mm-hmm.
LALLI.
Yeah, you just go ahead and spell the whole thing because I'm lost also.
So it's at Elise, ELLISE, Catherine with a C.
And Catherine has an E at the end.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Spell it.
Well, good
And
thing.
neither of those names are the names that we learned of you today, so that's not confusing at all.
Well, it's a good thing your husband is the one who puts all the names in, so you know he'll get it right. He'll get it right.
1 L.
All right, man. Well, thank y'all for joining us, man. We out.